Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to talk about the Paladin class in the Shatterheart. In terms of how it's distinctive from D&D, you'll notice from D&D there are effectively three different mechanisms for how abilities and powers work. Firstly, there are spells and cantrips. Secondly, there are powers that renew after a short rest. And thirdly, after level 3, I think, powers that renew after a long rest. This is just way overcomplicated and messy, and it's like 4th edition. Ugh. Okay, so everything is simplified in Shatterheart because it has a mana system. In the case of paladins, the focus equivalent of mana is faith, and you spend that on abilities, you spend that on spells. I mean, the only difference really between an ability and a spell is a spell, it contributes towards your spells learned list. If you're a wizard, it will fill spell slots, which is something else. A cantrip is effectively an ability, a magical ability. And all abilities that are magical are vulnerable to anti-magic spell powers and anti-magic resistances. So that kind of dramatically simplifies. It also means that a much wider range of powers and abilities for paladins are available for level 1. You'll be able to use them that often because you will have quite a low reserve of faith points. Okay, so let's bring up the playbook for paladins and go through the paladins. Of course, as I said, are half casters and effectively supplement their warrior-like abilities with magic, such as, of course, the Smite. Go on to the Smite in a moment, but let's really start off with, in terms of the backstory, Paladin's divine profession. Paladins must join an order and have a divine profession with an oath associated with it. We give a list of examples of divine profession, the classic one being defender of the faith, being part of a military order designed to defend the faith, or possibly one that defends pilgrims. There can be various specialist specialist orders that is up to you and your game master to agree which one. And there can also be other, sometimes less palatable in modern terms, divine professions such as Crusader, reconquering a land lost to religion, the Inquisitor, taking on heretics, the Conquistadors, slaughtering those who stand in the way of your religion, and so on. Okay. Let's start then with so one of your backstories will be to join, usually the second one after your origin backstory will be to join a divine profession. So that takes that slot from you, and in return for that you get your starting skills, which, like clerics, are theocentrism and theology. Theology is a knowledge skill. Theocentrism is basically the relationship between you and your deity, and you roll against theocentrism when you're exercising a paladin ability such as turning or healing. Won't go into detail about the skills, but the kind of the skills, including the weapon skills, are the ones you'd expect from a chevalier, a mounted rider, and warrior. They get less skills in terms of the range of weapons that warriors have, but you get access to heavy armor straight from level 1, and you get access to one weapon skill, such as sword. It doesn't have to be sword. There's absolutely no reason why it should be restricted to sword. also have a number of prayers, like clerics, only slightly more specialised, um, to create aid and so on. They also get access to healing cantrips, which we'll come on to in a moment. But let's start with the archetypal special paladin abilities, including Smite. Now, Smite is the main paladin ability. You spend one of your faith points and you add damage. That damage depends on your level, so it's +1 to 5 radiant damage plus escalation dice. 1d6 radiant damage plus escalation dice. 6 to 10 is +2d6 plus escalation dice, and you can trade off the dice at higher levels for an effect such as Thunderous Strike. Also, at higher levels, it'll hit more than one enemy. At level 6 to 10, it'll hit 2 enemies. At level of 10 or more, it'll hit any number in adjoining alphas. So this is, I think, monsters when they start and try to use pack tactics against paladins of these higher levels, they'll soon realise they have to keep their distance. Also, because of as well, paladins at high levels will have emanation spells, which are defensive for them and their allies. So keeping in a close huddle around a paladin is always a good idea. Paladins are best taken out with ranged weapons at distance. Paladins are not specialists at ranged weapons. They can be, but it's not their primary focus. So this is really a well-developed Smite. It scales in damage, it has special abilities, and it's all there on that one table for paladins to learn about. The second major ability is Divine Enemy. Divine Enemy, you get more and more as you gain in level, and you have knowledge against your Divine Enemy as a skill, and you also have can do extra damage against them. In terms of paladin spells, you learn spells I think from level 2 onwards, but at level 1 you can learn cantrips such as healing cantrips, which are less powerful than priests, less powerful than druids, but are an important supplementary to healing. You get more. It's more powerful if you lay on your hands, but you can heal at a distance as well. But of course, healing always takes 2 action points. Healing cantrip does not use focus points, using 2 action points. So it's very unlikely you'll be able to strike at the same time you're using a healing cantrip. So that's a big trade-off. Do you use your turn in terms of the action economy to heal, or do you use your turn to strike? So let's have a look at specialist abilities. At second level and every even level, you will get a specialization ability. These are similar to warriors. So you have things like battle scars, so you can resilient to and ignoring fear. The number of specialist ones that only available to paladins, such as dazzling divinity, where on a strike you cause such a dazzling from your well-polished weapon that it can dazzle your enemies. You have Defender of the Innocent, which is you gain edge in revenge against any enemy who's attacked you, and so on and so forth. Judgment by Steel is one of my favourites. You obviously must wield a steel melee weapon, and you gain 1 extra damage dice down. And this stacks with Smite. So a lot of these abilities do stack with Smite. Of course, it's pre-roll ability, Smite, so you can stack it with the post-roll ability. Again, they have a lot of similar to warriors and rangers conjure action abilities. Some of these will be will be familiar, but there are a small number that are specialists to paladins. Shield of the Righteous. If you're brandishing a large shield with a religious symbol on it, your AC is raised from +3 to +2, which would normally be with a large shield. Let's just check if there's not a lot of specialist abilities, because they already have the Smite, of course, for paladins, because paladins have a lot of spells, of course, as well. In terms of their level earned abilities, they gain these at 2nd level and every even number level as well. So at the 2nd level you gain a Warhorse, which is, you know, a big ability. Big ability as well is Consecrated Ground, where you create an area of protection within 10 alphas of you, which has various effects, up to very powerful abilities at a higher level, such as 18th level Rock of Divinity, one of the capstone abilities. Effectively, you have 2 capstone abilities always for each class in Shatterheart. One at 18th, one at 18th level, one at 20th level. Rock of Divinity, become immune to knockback and being knocked prone. Level 20, you can create a huge blast of radiant energy in front of you. Okay, that's about it for the Paladin class. I should say the Paladin class we have rebuilt in the last few days. It was a little bit complicated because there were so many leveling up abilities. They wouldn't fit into the normal even number progression. So what we've done actually is we've simplified and built them into the Smite ability, and also added a couple of new innate facilities, a dazzling ability in attack and a dazzling ability in defense. So thank you very much, and we'll speak to you again in the next video. Bye.